Well, today I've got an interesting repair I'm going to do. I've got a Philco Sportster from about 1958, 1957, I don't know. It can run off AC power or a 7.5 volt battery and a 90 volt battery. I don't see that happening ever again. But I haven't plugged it in or anything. But you can tell the little bumblebee capacitor here has blown up. I just noticed the piece there. The circuit's very simple, and so I don't think it'll be too hard to really get this up and running. So let's take a look. Let's take it apart. Genuine top grade cowhide. It's a little ripped up here, but it's got that nice cow on it. Got kind of a dent in there. We'll see if we can fix that. So it looks like we've got, let me see if I can take this. Got our antenna there. Looks like the speaker's in nice condition. There's this weird hardboard here. Little transformer on top of the speaker. Looks like, yeah, so I just got to get this out. Everything sure seems to be, other than the capacitors, everything seems to be in good condition, except the little bit of the leather's broken. So I am going to disconnect that antenna. I'm worried about it. So there's our circuit board. Looks like we're really burned in here. That could be related to that capacitor that is blown up in there. So yeah, so I'm going to replace the capacitors. There's a couplet inside there. I don't think I'm going to mess with that. And we'll see where it goes. Okay, so this is a 250 at 10 50 or 60 at 150 and 80 at 150. 60 and 80 at 150. And I've got that guy in there, and I've got that guy there, and I've got this blown up fella here. So, yep. Alright, I think I'll try to get this one next. Genuine Philco. Okay, so that blown up capacitor is this one right here. And so I have some safety caps. I don't have the .047, but I'll put one that's a little bit bigger in there. And this is a much better choice for something that goes across the line voltage like that. So I'll get that in there somehow. Okay, so I got that guy in, and of course I burned some of the solder, or some of the circuit board, so I had to kind of bring that wire up a little bit. And so now I'm going to pull, there's a wax cap back here, coupling cap. I'm going to pull that out and replace that, and then there's another one over here that's going to be hard to get to. But I think once I've done those, I should be good to try to bring it up. That's the wax cap. It's a .047, 200 volts. Yeah, about 10% loss. That's kind of bad. This should do the trick. .22. Let's check this one out. Yeah, it's kind of bad too. So I had to take off these two screws here, but then once I did that, I should have done that from the beginning. It's much easier to get into all these different parts. So now I just have to replace this capacitor here, or these three capacitors. So I think that probably what's happened here is that this capacitor is shorted out, and it looks like the traces kind of burned through here. I've got some new capacitors that I'm going to put in, to replace the old one, and I think then we're ready to go. So I'm just going to take the markings from the old capacitor and write them on here, and then I'll just make sure to get them in right. And I think I'm just going to put the positive leads through here and the negative leads through there and solder them together. We'll see how that works. Well, that looks like it for the working on the board. So I think I'll put it back together. So this this device does not have a polarized plug on it, and so I've got a polarized plug. The end of this is made to plug into here, and so that it can't be plugged in unless the case is closed. But I'm just going to cut this in here, and I'm going to splice in, because I need this connector here, and I'm going to splice in a plug that's polarized, and that'll at least keep me from getting electrocuted while working on it. Alright, so let's plug it in. This thing's a bit of a death machine, just because the plug was unpolarized and it switched across the negative, and it's got 110 volts going across the tubes, but we'll try it out, and we'll just have to be careful. Right, it seems to be well, it's making noise. I'm going to hook the antenna back up. Okay, we have the antenna hooked up. Now let's try tuning it. That did not sound great. I'm going to check these tubes to see if they're okay, so we're going from our rectifier up to this 10-watt resistor right here. And so on one side of that resistor we have 105 volts. On the other we have 7, which is right compared to the schematic. And then from there we go up to pin 7 of the output tube. Okay, and so if we look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's 7 volts. And from there should go to pin 1, or it should, the heater should come out on pin 1. Okay, so I found the cause of the motor boating. It's that right here there's a 0.01 capacitor to bracket, and that goes, it's way back in there down at the bottom. But then that takes the ground and puts it to the chassis. But then this piece here sits in here and shields this entire lower part. And one of the places it screws into is right here. So that transfers that from here to here. So I'm just going to put a jumper from here to here. And that has taken care of the motor boating sound once I ground out that area by the volume switch. So I have the signal generator going into it now, and I notice when I hit this tube here, I'm going to try resoldering those joints, see if that makes a difference. No difference with resoldering, so I'm going to take it out and try cleaning it a little more. So I've got it back together, so I'm going to set up my signal generator to be 455 kilohertz, and then I'm just going to modulate it at about 60% with 400 hertz. And what I'm going to do then is I'm going to take that, then I'll run that through a capacitor and hook it up to here. So then I'm going to hook coming through the capacitor, I'll hook that up to the right to the tuner. And then one thing I had to do here that is a little strange is if I don't have the ground hooked up to the shielding of this tube, then it kind of motorboats like that. And yeah, so I've got that hooked up, and then I'm going to turn on my scope and measure the signal coming out of the speaker. Okay, so here's my signal coming out. I've got quite a bit of 60 hertz noise. So I'm just going to look at my peak-to-peak voltage, and then I'm just going to turn this IF can until that voltage is maximized. Oops, that's going the wrong way. So that's about right. And then do it right here, and then there's one more underneath that I need to do. And that's just going to maximize my signal. So here's one more thing I did, is that the switch used to be on the negative, and I took that off. I made it so that the positive, if you look,
but he also left it in the hands of what has been
right
a shaky bullpen, and that is
there you can see I put a red wire in for the positive, or for the hot wire, and then a black wire in for the ground, and then there you can see I changed the switch. Change the switch so that it's actually switching the hot side, and then ground I just have attached to the back of the switch where it used to go down into the circuit board. And then I pulled that switch that used to switch the battery, and then just jumpered that out because it wasn't really needed anymore, because this used to run on a 90-volt battery, and I don't think anybody's going to find a 90-volt battery for this thing. So So I'm in my basement. I'm picking up quite a few stations.
Reject naming or a building or a park or a body of water after a person is a bad idea regardless. After all, and I need 45 minutes. Yeah, fully colored signs.
So here's the finished product.
Mattress Factory in the Twin Cities clear and 76 degrees. 68 at St. Cloud, Alexandria 74, 74 at Northfield, Rochester 76, and in Kellogg is clear with 74.
Become part of the new WCCO network. If you see an event that creates issues, let us know, and we'll inform listeners across the Twin Cities. If you see something, say it to us. You can tweet us at WCCO-AM.
I love the actual rawhide.
Station that serves Minnesota. Official traffic station. 830 WCCO.
And neither do you. So we understand that it can be hard to find a type. Robin Trzynski of the Original Mattress Factory, and we have a completely new website designed to help you simplify the mattress shopping experience.
So that's the finished job, and hope you enjoyed it, and please subscribe.
Local delivery or